In recent weeks, the state of Virginia has found itself at the center of a deeply unsettling mystery. Dozens of unusual videos have surfaced on social media platforms, each one capturing scenes of ice cream trucks moving through neighborhoods late at night. These recordings, often shared by residents in Facebook groups, have sparked widespread concern, with the majority of sightings occurring between 10 o'clock in the evening and 4 o'clock in the morning. What alarms many is not only the timing of these appearances, but also the strange detail that some of the trucks can be heard playing the familiar melodies traditionally associated with ice cream vendors. The mystery deepened further when, between the 3rd of August and the 9th of August, more than 100 young people were reported as missing throughout Virginia. The sudden surge in disappearances coinciding with the peculiar activity of these ice cream trucks has prompted speculation that the two events may be connected. For communities already unnerved by the late-night presence of these vehicles, the overlap has only added to a growing sense of unease. Residents across several towns have shared their experiences in community groups online, often expressing shock and fear. Many note that such events have no precedent, explaining that prior to this summer, there had never been any history of ice cream trucks moving through neighborhoods after dark. Some individuals have reported seeing these vehicles pass by more than once in a single night, almost as if they were circling the area with a deliberate purpose. To many, this behavior has suggested that the drivers may be searching for something, adding another layer of strangeness to the unfolding mystery. One account in particular has captured widespread attention. A woman from Virginia posted online about her encounter with one of these trucks. She explained that she first noticed it pulling into a quiet residential street late at night. She decided to follow it at a distance. The vehicle eventually stopped, which heightened her sense of fear. She described feeling that the situation was not right and chose to drive away, only to realize that the truck had started following her. This pursuit continued until she pulled into the parking lot of a store, hoping to find safety and alert others nearby. According to her statement, the driver of the ice cream truck suddenly jumped out and began running toward her car. She described the man claiming that he was conducting an experiment and that this experiment involved making people disappear. The woman's fear escalated when a second vehicle, a white van, began following her closely as she tried to escape. She managed to get away, but the experience left her deeply shaken and convinced that there was something deliberate and disturbing about the activity surrounding these trucks. Her story is not the only testimony fueling alarm. Others have shared sightings of multiple ice cream trucks traveling through neighborhoods on the same night, sometimes within only minutes of one another. These overlapping reports have created the impression that something organized is taking place, rather than isolated incidents of late-night drivers. The eerie element of the music being played by some of the trucks only intensifies the unease, as the cheerful tunes, usually a sign of joy, take on a sinister tone when heard in the dead of night on otherwise silent streets. The missing persons cases reported between the 3rd and the 9th of August remain one of the most troubling aspects of the situation. Families across Virginia have come forward to share their heartbreak and confusion, describing young people who vanished without clear explanation. For many observers, the timing of these disappearances alongside the rise of mysterious ice cream truck sightings is too coincidental to ignore. While no official link has been declared, the public conversation has become increasingly focused on the possibility of a connection. As days turned into weeks, more and more residents began recording videos whenever they spotted the trucks. These clips, now widely shared across social platforms, form a collective archive of evidence that suggests the phenomenon is widespread. The sheer number of sightings indicates that this is not a rare occurrence, but an ongoing and deliberate pattern. Concern has grown so significant that entire community pages are now dedicated to tracking and discussing the movements of these late-night vehicles. The social impact of the situation has been profound. Parents have become increasingly wary. Neighborhood watch groups have formed in several towns, organizing patrols and encouraging residents to report sightings immediately. The atmosphere in many communities is one of vigilance and suspicion, where the sound of faint music at night is enough to cause alarm. The psychological toll has also been notable. The image of the ice cream truck has long been tied to innocence, summer afternoons, and simple joys. To see that same image transformed into a source of fear represents a profound shift in collective perception. What was once a harmless fixture of community life has now become a symbol of something hidden, possibly threatening, and certainly unexplained. The testimony of the woman, followed by both the truck and the van, illustrates the level of intimidation people now feel. Her experience highlights the possibility that the phenomenon involves more than just one driver or one vehicle, but rather a coordinated group with unclear intentions. Her encounter shows that the fear is not only theoretical, but based on direct confrontations that leave lasting emotional scars. As the weeks since early August have unfolded, the debate continues to intensify. For some, the idea of connecting the disappearances to the ice cream trucks feels speculative, yet for others, the overlap is too significant to dismiss. Each new video, each fresh testimony, and each unexplained absence adds weight to the growing belief that Virginia is facing a mystery with serious implications. The mystery of the ice cream trucks represents more than a curious series of late-night drives. It has come to symbolize a deeper sense of vulnerability within communities, a reminder that even familiar and once beloved aspects of life can transform into sources of dread under certain circumstances. The residents of Virginia continue to watch, record, and share, determined to shed light on a phenomenon that shows no sign of ending. The unanswered questions remain heavy, but the lived experiences of those who have seen the trucks, heard the music, or been followed through darkened streets make it clear that this is not simply an internet rumor. It is a lived reality for many, and until clarity emerges, the mystery will persist. The period between the 3rd and the 9th of August will be remembered as the week when Virginia's sense of safety shifted dramatically, as families confronted both unexplained disappearances and the haunting presence of ice cream trucks that no longer signify joy, but instead evoke unease, suspicion, and fear. Thousands want to storm the Vatican. In addition to handwritten papal memos and presidential letters, the 80 kilometers of archives and shelves found at the Vatican are thought to hold a wealth of pertinent material regarding the UFO phenomenon, and it's because of this that thousands have said that they want to storm the Vatican in order to find out the truth. In 2023, the long-running endeavor acquired momentum after former United States intelligence agent David Grush testified before Congress. According to Grush, Benito Mussolini's dictatorship obtained information of a crashed UFO through back-channeling from Pope Pius to the United States. Nonetheless, UFO researchers may find more in the archives than first appears, based on findings similar to those detailed in Diana Walsh Pasulka's 2019 book, American Cosmic. According to Pasulka, a religious studies professor at the University of North Carolina in Wilmington, there are several accounts of paranormal occurrences in the archives, including nuns who saw orbs entering their cells and other flying phenomena. She contends that rather than being miracles in the conventional Catholic sense, these incidents are more accurately explained as UFO-type happenings. She clarified that in their mad race to digitize what they have, Vatican archivists must prioritize what they consider most important. Religious experts are not the only people who are interested in the Vatican's properties. The Vatican archives are viewed as a possible gold mine for scientists trying to understand UFOs, such as Stanford University medical professor Gary Nolan. According to Nolan, the Vatican is most likely the oldest library system of paranormal or supernatural knowledge still in existence, adding that if you just know how to read it, you can extract this information. In 2023, Nolan co-founded the Sol Foundation with the goal of spearheading scientific investigation into unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UFOs, and initiating discussions regarding the spiritual ramifications of finding extraterrestrial life with religious establishments such as the Vatican. The Foundation is positive that a minimum of some UFOs are authentic alien vehicles. As a result, fostering interfaith discussion to evaluate the possible effects on world faiths has been one of its primary goals. The Foundation's director, Peter Scaffish, said that the Vatican is an organization that facilitates interfaith dialogue and engages religious pluralism, and so it has always been in their mind that they want to engage. There has been a long-standing curiosity among non-Catholic scholars about the Vatican's hidden mysteries, which stems from a retreat center in California that holds cultural significance. The Cornish Almond. In 1976 and 1978, Maunan, a Cornish seaside town, experienced an unexplained haunting. After reporting a winged creature in the neighborhood churchyard, two adolescent girls stormed the local police station. The weird object that the girls had seen floating in the trees nearby had abruptly soared upward and disappeared, sending the two adolescents running screaming. The girls would also draw what they had seen, and although their drawings were rudimentary, they showed something considerably more evil than a simple bird. A creature that resembled a massive humanoid owl with blazing eyes, a broad mouth, and claws that resembled pincers. Its feathers were described as being either white or greyish. As soon as word of the meeting circulated, the creature was called Owlman, based on its looks and due to the creature sharing characteristics with the Mothman of West Virginia. Two other females who were camped close to the chapel saw the Owlman again. The creature appeared to have hissed horrifyingly this time before disappearing back up into the trees. The following morning, the Owlman was spotted once more. The monster was now hiding among the woods near a cliff, and as additional girls discovered it, it disappeared upward once more. One of the Owlman's last observations was in June 1978, when a lone girl witnessed what appeared to be the devil disappear up into the trees near the church. Not one, not two, but three girls, who were also French, saw the beast again in August. Once again, it was observing them from a tall tree branch before disappearing above, and after that, there were no more reports of the Owlman. One noteworthy detail in several purported witness accounts of the Owlman is that it had legs that bent backward, resembling actual birds' legs. It would be difficult, if not impossible, to fake this with a basic outfit. It would also be challenging, though not impossible, to pull off the so-called luminous eyes, and if there was no costume involved, it might have been an animatronic replica. Though the peak of Owlman sightings occurred in the late 1970s, reports have continued sporadically over the years. A little-known sighting happened in 1989. A young man named Gavin reported seeing a man-bird with a ghastly face near the church, rekindling interest in the legend. More recently, in 1995, a tourist named Jane Greenwood claimed to have seen a similar creature. These contemporary sightings, while less frequent, keep the legend alive and ensure that the Owlman remains a topic of interest and speculation. The story of the Owlman of Cornwall serves as a reminder of the power of folklore and the human penchant for seeking out mysteries in the shadows of our understanding. The Owlman of Cornwall, with its haunting appearance and mysterious origins, continues to captivate the imagination of both locals and cryptid enthusiasts worldwide. The mysterious case of Ricky McCormick. Ricky McCormick, aged 41, was found in a cornfield 20 miles outside of St. Louis, Missouri, on June 30, 1999. Except for the 2 pages of notes in his pockets, McCormick's passing may have gone unreported due to his living conditions and health issues. McCormick's notes, written in complex, impenetrable code, have long baffled professional and amateur code breakers. Many people are certain that the notes discovered on McCormick's body contain the clue to his unexplained passing, despite his family's insistence that he could hardly spell, much less figure out a secret code. However, there is more to Ricky McCormick's case than first meets the eye. Those who knew Ricky McCormick claimed that he may have been dealing substances and that he had connections to a number of sketchy characters. Ricky McCormick appeared to have had health issues from an early age. According to news outlets, he acted abnormally, recounted unusual stories, and stood alone during playtime. According to Gloria McCormick, Ricky's favorite aunt, a psychiatrist, said he had a brick wall in his mind. According to him, Ricky declined to breach the wall, and he had a vivid imagination and disliked living in poverty. When McCormick left high school, he was hardly able to write or read. News outlets reported that McCormick's family said he was unable to spell and would instead scribble. According to his cousin, McCormick acted like he was in another world, and although many who have studied this case have suggested that he was misunderstood and used his own writing style to express himself, something that the FBI would end up agreeing with. McCormick, who didn't have a high school diploma, took up a variety of low-paying jobs, generally at night. His meager earnings and the benefits he received for his ongoing heart problems allowed him to survive. However, McCormick would find himself in trouble with the law in 1992. Following his guilty plea, Ricky McCormick was imprisoned for 13 months in the Farmington Correctional Center, but his problems would only get worse after he came out. Ricky McCormick obtained a graveyard shift job at an Amoco petrol station in downtown St. Louis after being released from prison. He encountered a number of dubious characters there who might have contributed to his unexplained passing. Juma and Baha Bob Hamdallah, two brothers, were in charge of the Amoco. Both were known for their harsh treatment of people, and McCormick made a few odd visits to Florida while working for them. Later, his girlfriend reported to the police that he appeared afraid and that she thought he was smuggling a substance for the Hamdallah brothers. McCormick began acting strangely in mid-June 1999, not long after his last trip to Florida. According to investigators, McCormick went to two different emergency departments between June 22nd and June 25th to complain of chest pain. He was last spotted at the Amoco petrol station on June 27th. After that, Ricky McCormick vanished. At first, nobody took attention, and he was not reported missing by anyone. It wasn't until June 30th, 20 miles from McCormick's residence and workplace, that he was found in a field. Even though McCormick's cause of passing was not determined by a medical examiner, investigators believed that foul play had played a role in his demise. According to investigators, Captain David Tiefenbrunn, the St. Charles County Police Department's Bureau Commander of Criminal Investigations, described the situation as puzzling. If there were no leads, Ricky McCormick's passing might have gotten lost in the shadows. However, something odd was later discovered by the police in his pockets. Upon investigating Ricky McCormick's case, the police discovered 2 pages of handwritten notes that were encoded in some sort of language. The FBI's Cryptanalysis and Racketeering Records Unit received the notes, but even its skilled codebreakers were unable to decipher the cipher. Dan Olson, the chief of Cryptanalysis and Racketeering Records Unit, said that they don't often have an unsolved cipher of this length and significance. The personas are not arbitrary. For example, there are numerous E's that can be utilized as spaces. There are numerous traits and patterns that point to the possibility of a solution. They don't know why it can't be solved, which is the difficulty. According to the FBI website, there are 4 processes involved in breaking a code: identifying the language, the system, the key, which is moving each letter to the right in the alphabet, and reconstructing the text. However, the FBI could only proceed to step 2 using McCormick's notes. Therefore, the FBI requested assistance from amateur codebreakers in March 2011 after making the public aware of McCormick's notes. Advice started to pour in, and various news outlets said that codebreakers claimed to have found references to hospitals, the name Seth, and prescription reminders in McCormick's notes. However, the McCormick family wasn't persuaded. They expressed skepticism regarding McCormick's ability to write in code, having learned about the codes alongside the general population. According to a family relative, McCormick didn't write in code. However, other family members recalled that McCormick had written in codes when he was younger. Ricky McCormick's code hasn't been cracked as of yet. It's uncertain if the code was written by him or by someone else. In the realm of paranormal phenomena, encounters with ghostly apparitions have long fascinated and unsettled individuals across cultures and centuries. One such chilling encounter purportedly occurred when a trail camera captured an unsettling image of a ghost child apparition during the night. The setting is a remote woodland area where a solitary trail camera has been strategically placed by wildlife enthusiasts or researchers to monitor local fauna and track animal behaviors. These motion-activated cameras, equipped with infrared sensors and capable of capturing high-resolution images and videos, are commonly used in wildlife conservation and research efforts worldwide. The incident began innocuously enough, with the trail camera functioning as intended, capturing images of nocturnal animals such as deer, raccoons, and birds as they traversed the forested landscape under cover of darkness. However, one fateful night, the camera recorded an image that defied conventional explanation and sent shockwaves through the community of paranormal investigators and enthusiasts. In the eerie stillness of the night, the trail camera's infrared sensor was triggered, activating its recording mechanism to capture a series of images. Among the mundane snapshots of wildlife activity, one image stood out: a faint, translucent figure of what appeared to be a young child, standing alone in the darkness of the forest. Strangely enough, the mysterious apparition is seen standing next to a deer. Many people wonder how they managed to approach the animal up close, especially because deer are known to spook quickly. The ghostly apparition depicted in the image possessed ethereal qualities, its form partially obscured, yet distinctly humanoid in shape. News of the ghostly apparition caught on the trail camera quickly spread through social media, online forums, and local news outlets, and speculation and debate ensued, with skeptics questioning the authenticity of the image and believers interpreting it as compelling evidence of supernatural activity. Paranormal investigators and experts in photographic analysis scrutinized the trail camera's metadata, examining factors such as exposure settings, ambient light conditions, and potential sources of image distortion. Their objective analysis aimed to determine whether the ghostly image could be attributed to technical glitches, environmental factors, or deliberate hoaxes. Witness testimonies from individuals familiar with the area added to the mystique surrounding the ghost child apparition. Some claimed to have experienced unexplained phenomena or unsettling encounters in the vicinity of the trail camera's location, reinforcing beliefs in the presence of lingering spirits or residual energy from past events. For those who believe in the existence of ghosts and paranormal activity, the image served as a haunting reminder of the thin boundary between the tangible world and unseen forces that defy scientific explanation. It prompted introspection into the mysteries of life and passing, prompting contemplation on the nature of consciousness and the possibility of existence beyond physical existence. Mysterious sea serpent photographed in New York's Hudson River. Over the years, there have been rumors of an elusive, serpent-like monster in the serene waters of New York's Hudson River, where the calm of nature meets the hustle and bustle of the metropolis. Witnesses have frequently compared these encounters to mythical sea serpents or cryptids, which has aroused discussion, intrigue, and awe among both locals and enthusiasts. Though the most well-known monster to live in water is the Loch Ness Monster, there are other inexplicable creatures that are said to hide in well-known bodies of water. Another illustration is Kipsy, a supposedly Hudson River-dwelling Nessie-like creature from New York. Facebook user Joanne Martin posted a picture she had photographed earlier this month of what appears to be an odd serpentine critter that appears to be emerging from the river's waters. It may be far away, but the supposed creature is really interesting, with a tail and long neck sticking out of the water in addition to the classic hump. Local news sources swiftly published the picture, which led to some discussion among users who speculated as to whether the object in question was actually a piece of driftwood or something more. Stories of serpent-like creatures in the Hudson River date back centuries, rooted in Native American folklore and early European explorers' accounts. Native tribes such as the Lenape spoke of a water spirit believed to inhabit the river's depths, a testament to the cultural significance of the Hudson and its mystical inhabitants. European settlers later encountered similar tales, describing sightings of monstrous serpents or sea snakes that allegedly surfaced from the river's murky depths. These accounts, though often dismissed as myths or exaggerations, contributed to a rich tapestry of Hudson River lore that persists to this day. In contemporary times, sightings of a serpent-like creature in the Hudson River continue to be reported sporadically, captivating the public's imagination and prompting speculation among cryptozoologists and amateur researchers. Witnesses describe the creature as elongated, with a sinuous body and sometimes adorned with protrusions or fins, a description that evokes comparisons to prehistoric marine reptiles or undiscovered species. One notable sighting occurred in the early 21st century, when a group of kayakers claimed to have encountered a large, serpent-like creature gliding gracefully through the water. The witnesses, seasoned river enthusiasts, recounted how the creature surfaced briefly before diving back into the depths, leaving behind only ripples and a sense of awe. Subsequent sightings by fishermen, boaters, and waterfront residents have added to the mystique surrounding the Hudson River serpent. These eyewitness testimonies vary in detail, but consistently describe a creature that defies easy classification, a testament to the enduring allure of cryptids and unexplained phenomena. Skeptics and scientists approach reports of a serpent-like creature in the Hudson River with caution, citing the lack of conclusive evidence and the potential for misidentification of known aquatic species. They point to the river's diverse ecosystem, which includes sturgeon, eels, and other aquatic fauna, as potential sources of mistaken sightings or exaggerated accounts. However, proponents of the Hudson River serpent hypothesis argue that the creature's elusive nature and sporadic appearances align with patterns observed in other cryptid sightings worldwide. They advocate for systematic surveys, underwater cameras, and acoustic monitoring to gather empirical data and corroborate eyewitness reports, a scientific approach aimed at unraveling the mystery of the river's mysterious inhabitant. The legend of the Hudson River Serpent has permeated popular culture, inspiring artistic interpretations, literary works, and local folklore festivals dedicated to celebrating the river's mysteries. Artists and storytellers have depicted the creature in various forms, from whimsical illustrations to ominous depictions that evoke a sense of primal fear and fascination. Community engagement initiatives, such as citizen science projects and educational outreach programs, encourage public participation in monitoring and documenting wildlife sightings along the Hudson River. These efforts foster a deeper connection to the natural environment and promote stewardship of local waterways, while also honoring the cultural heritage associated with the river's mythical inhabitants. The Hairy Hands of Dartmoor. Found in Dartmoor, in the English county of Devon, there resides a strip of road that has become so notorious for its number of annual traffic accidents that a large portion of the local residents claim it to be at the centre of an impossible-to-explain supernatural phenomenon. This phenomenon has come to be known as the Hairy Hands of Dartmoor. The strip of road featuring these accidents rests along the road between Post Bridge and Two Bridges, with many of the victims claiming that it was not until entering onto this road that a strange and impossible-to-explain event would take place. The victims often reported that, seemingly out of nowhere, it would feel as if the steering wheel was pulled in a specific direction, as if someone or something grabbed onto the steering wheel and attempted to throw them off of the road. Despite these numerous reports from the victims, it wasn't until the first reports began surfacing surrounding that of victims claiming to have seen ghostly severed hands grabbing onto their steering wheel before crashing and passing out that the locals began to connect the dots of the paranormal aspect of this occurrence. This soon led to many claiming that the accidents were the result of some ghostly figure of a pair of hands attempting to drive people off the road, a theory that would later be tested to a certain level of success. Journalist and author Rufus Endell would later claim that a pair of hands gripped the driving wheel, adding that they had to fight for control, proving that the accident could be avoided if one was aware of where the hands were pulling the wheel. Shortly after driving away from the road, the hands disappeared as quickly as they had first appeared, leaving Mr. Endell with the feeling that the road itself was the haunted location of the hairy hands.